Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's going on, man? I hope you guys are doing pretty good today. I know my day is going just fine. Well, check this out. If you would please join me in a moment of silence, followed by a serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers, and for those of you who are still bound down to some sort of struggle that keeps you from moving forward in this toxic life that we live in, man. So, if you would please join me in a moment of silence. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way, check this out, man. I got something pretty good, I think, for you guys today. Just again, it's during my meditation is where I get the topic of the videos that I do. You know what I mean? So. During my meditation, it was something told me that I needed to talk about community and about isolation, both. And so with that, I've been practicing quite a few, I like to study quite a few things, right? And one of the things that I do in my life today is I do everything that I do in my life today is working on my spirituality, right? And it's just my spiritual journey is what I'm doing, and in that spiritual journey, it it has taken me to meet a whole lot of different people and to participate in different indigenous cultural type of ceremonies and practices and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And for me, that has been the thing that has kept me in a community. It has kept me from being in isolation. So with that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And what I'm going to do is I pulled up something that I had ran across when I was doing some research and stuff, and I just thought I found it interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read you a little bit of what it says, and then we'll go on. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on the spirituality and the community and that sort of thing. So just let me throw this out there for now, just to kind of get the pot stirring, you know what I mean? And this says, indigenous spirituality is more complex phenomenon than the term spirituality alone. As generally understood, implies spirituality is closely bound up with cultural and ways of living in indigenous communities and require a more holistic or comprehensive approach. Two conceptual frameworks could help to orient indigenous resiliency. One is the enculturation framework. Enculturation refers to the degree of integration within the culture, and which can be protective in different aspects. You know what I mean, like the social behavior, academic achievements, alcohol abuse, cessation, substance abuse, externalizing behaviors, depressive symptoms. Instruments for measuring enculturation generally have three components: traditional activities in cultural identification and traditional spirituality. A second conceptual framework is cultural spiritual orientation, which distinguishes between cultural spiritual orientations and tribal spiritual beliefs. Enculturation and culture orientations are protective against alcohol abuse, suicide ideations, and suicide attempts. New tools are emerging for measuring the multidimensional natural of culturally rooted spiritually and indigenous communities. And it goes on to say that complex processes advance and indigenous communities take increasing charge of their own. It should become easier to design interventions that take advantage to the cultural spiritual dimension of indigenous traditions to promote individual, family, and community resilience. And I thought that you know, involving yourself in some sort of community, um, you know, to I guess the benefits to being involved in those types of communities and getting out of an isolation, you know, way of living, you get a deeper understanding of indigenous cultures and traditions. You know what I mean? And it you get a sense of belonging, a community to a community, and like-minded people who are striving and looking for what you're looking for, because there's always somebody else who is feeling like you do, who thinks with the in those idea frameworks that you're thinking of, and the things that you want help with. It's things like that, you know what I mean? And it also it enhances your spiritual growth, man. And when you share these practices and teachings, it's beneficial, you know what I mean? And each one has its own unique nature of healing and well-being and overall just sense of safety net, if you will, you know what I mean? And also you can participate in different rituals that they have, and rituals doesn't mean, you know, a lot of people when they hear rituals they think of like, okay, this is evil stuff, but no, when I say rituals, this is just rituals like any congregation of any church is doing. You know, when they're praying a certain way, those are their rituals, right? And every religious sect, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, and every, you know, indigenous spiritual culture has their rituals for helping people, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. And also it's just to be it, a lot of these communities keep your mindset, they help you move your mindset to be mindful and to have compassion and to understand that we're human beings and we're not meant to be by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We're not meant to be alone, man. We're meant to involve ourselves in the nature of Earth, and understanding where we come from, understanding the things around us, understanding our community and ourselves, and our spiritual divine connection. You know what I mean? And also, when you involve yourself in this stuff, you get to preserve the language of your culture, heritage, of your spirituality, of the things you feel connected to. You know what I mean? And it's to me it's a good thing. You know what I mean? And you know, just to give you a little example, if you're wondering what I'm wearing here, this is not a Hawaiian lane or anything, but this is like a lei, and it's this really cool deal, man. Look at this thing; it's pretty, and these are real roses, and this just happened to be on a deity, around a deity's neck, at a Hare Krishna ceremony that I went to. It was like a spiritual teaching and that sort of thing, and it has to do with the Bhakti yoga and the Hare Krishna traditions and stuff like that. And when they gave me this, I was just really honored, because only if the person who is leading the group feels this connection to you, feels the energies that you're connecting with them, and if the deity allows you if it allows you to take it off in one swift move, then that means it's for you. And it just, that happened, man, and they put it around my neck, and I was just so honored to be in the presence of that energy, man. You know what I mean? And I just thought that was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show you that the communities, man, it you know, like I've mentioned before in some of my videos, that I have you know, did I have been involved in a lot of 12-step programs. I've been to quite a few treatment centers, and you know a lot of things worked. They did. But they worked, and they worked for a little while, and I just wound up relapsing, and then the cycle goes on. But this time around, it's like I never practiced spirituality in any of the other endeavors of my life, and I'm practicing spirituality now, and it's just such a great feeling, man. And it's like nothing I've ever felt before. You know what I mean? And it's just like it seems so right. You know what I mean? That's the thing, man. It just seems so right. No matter where I'm going to do studying or researching different cultures, because I love people, right? And I believe that our job, our purpose on earth, I guess, is to live as pure as you can, number one, and help as many people as you can, regardless of race, culture, any of that stuff. You know what I mean? And since I've gone through different phases, I've learned that each community, man, that I ever involved myself with, when I was involved myself with the Catholic Church or the Christian Church, or my Buddhist teachings that I go to, or this Hare Krishna devotees that I associate myself with, man, it's just feeling that energy, that presence of people who care. You know what I mean? And who are looking for the same thing that you're looking for. You know what I mean? In helping not only yourself get better, more connected with that divine energy, but to move that to everybody else that you come in contact with. You know what I mean? I think it's just great. And so I really enjoyed going, to the Hare Krishna Bhakti Yoga Center, and chanting mantras, and just listening to the teacher, speaking and explaining things. You know what I mean? And explaining verses and readings of the Bhagavad it's Bhagavad book that they follow, and it's just, I don't know, I really enjoy it, and it's just the same way when I go to my friends over at the Buddhist temple. You know what I mean? They I go to a Dharma recovery over at the Buddhist temple, and we learn about the Dharma recovery and follow that whole process. And it's just one of the many things that I do, that I get to get out of this box that I was in, of darkness and addiction, and of depression, and of dealing with childhood trauma, and suicidal thoughts, and PTSD, all of these different things that were rolling around, wrapping up, just tangling up inside of my mind and my heart, that kept me bound down to using drugs, so I wouldn't feel it and deal with any of that. You know what I mean? And I can honestly say that I could just feel everything untangling, if you will, ever since I've been on this spiritual journey, which has been about, oh gosh, I've been on this spiritual journey for about a year and a half, I guess. Really into the spiritual journey, not just, going in, not reading one few things, I'm full-fledged deep. I jumped in with 2 feet, and I'm practicing and learning and just being open-minded to any of the good energy that anybody has, and all these different cultures have. And I believe that if you allow yourself to be vulnerable, if you allow yourself to really show compassion for not only somebody else, but more importantly for yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's where the whole thing really starts in the spiritual journey, is showing that compassion for you, for oneself. You know what I mean? Because ultimately that's where we have, that's where the answers are. The answers are coming from within. And in every culture and every religion that I've ever studied, they all say the same thing. You know what I mean? The light, the energy, that divine energy comes from within you, and you just have to find it. And when you find it and allow it to move you in a way that your heart and your brain and your mind, your heart and soul just connect all in one. When this is just running like this, just the way it's supposed to be, you know what I mean? Just perfect in sequence, like those divers that like those swimmers who swim and they're doing the same movement. It's like that. It's just really beautiful, right? And when you have that moving like this, oh my God, it's like just an unreal, like a surreal feeling, you know what I mean? And it's where you start your, some reason it activates something. It activates something, and you start just mentally and physically and spiritually feeling this connection with that energy. And it moves you. You know what I mean? It moves you. It does, and it shows you answers, and just, and you know, and it's not always gonna be this, oh, miraculous feeling, you know, all this stuff, you know, no, because it also shows you the hardcore truth. You know what I mean? It allows you to get dirty, man. You know what I mean? It allows you to see that part of you that you have to clean up. And that's the part that nobody wants to deal with. That's the part that people drink away. That's the part that people do their drugs so that they don't have to deal with that mess. That's the part that people get into this isolation mode so they don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? They get into this isolation mode, or this anger mode, or their suicidal thought mode, or this just, you know, depressed mode. And it goes on and on, you know what I mean? The list goes on and on. But the thing is, man, when you involve yourself with that spiritual community, they help you. Because you can't do it alone. That's number one. Because us as human beings, we were never here on this earth meant to be by ourselves. We are a community type people. You know what I mean? Since ancient times, you know what I mean? The indigenous people have showed us that the energies are out there. And if you align yourself with those energies, good things happen. But they don't only do it by themselves, they do it in a community, man. This is this indigenous tribal community that's how they do it. They help one another. If there's any problem, they help one another. And that's what these communities do for me. You know what I mean? And that's why I love it so much, because it doesn't matter which community I go to, man. If I go to my NA community, if I step into the rooms of an NA room right now, I'll get shown some love. If I go to to AA community, same thing. If I go to the Dharma recovery, same thing. If I go to the Hare Krishna Bhakti Yoga Center, same thing. You know, and it doesn't matter if I'm going here in San Antonio, Texas, or I'm over there in Los Angeles, or if I'm over there in China or Korea or Australia. It doesn't matter where you're at. They all are connected to that same divine energy, and they show the love. You know what I mean? And that's how we grow. That's how we move past things in our lives, and that's how we get those chains of bondage that break. That's how you release those things, man, that are bothering you, that are weighing you down, that are keeping you from moving forward in your life. You know what I mean? And I'm just talking to you through experience. You know what I'm saying? This is not some scripted thing here. This is something that is coming from my heart. So things that I've lived, things that I've experienced, and I've experienced and lived a lot of stuff involved in that, man. You know what I mean? Because I've been also, you know, I learned a lot of things when I was out in other countries. You know what I mean? And you know, I've been to a lot of places, and remembered a lot of the things that I remember when I was in the places. That there's a lot of spiritual connections, man, and these different people, man, from all over the world lead their life in a spiritual sense. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's just a coincidence. You know what I mean? And go figure, here in this Western world that we live in, there's a lot of people, man, who are adopting things of indigenous people from other countries, other religions, who that is a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? And I believe, I don't care what it is that you learn, what it is that you follow. If you're following something that ultimately is trying to connect you with that divine energy, how you get there is okay with me. Because so long as I meet you there in that energy, then we're connected, man. We're connected, and there's no going wrong there, man. Because that energy doesn't let you down. That energy doesn't let you down, and that's an energy that if you stay connected to it, I tell you what, if you stay connected to that energy, the more potent you start feeling, the more energized, the more energy you start getting. And when you combine yourself with other individuals who are doing the same thing, gosh, that energy just starts growing and growing, and it's just this whole ball of energy that you're involving yourself in. That is a good energy. That is good, beautiful energy. You know what I mean? And it's of a divine sense. It's of a divine connection. It's not bad. You know what I mean? So it's just great, man. I don't know. I just wanted to. I figured I would talk about that today because, you know, I heard a lot of people in some of the meetings, you know, a lot of people are alone, you know what I mean, and having trouble with that, and it's just good to share something that'll help somebody, man, and if you're one of the people who are feeling alone and like there's nothing else, involve yourself, man. All you got to do is involve yourself in some sort of community around your area. You know what I mean? It could be an NA group, an AA group. It could be a Buddhist center. Like I attend a few things at the Buddhist center. There's a Christian church that I deal with. They have some things that they do that are great. And then, you know, I went to this bhakti yoga place, and got introduced to these Hare Krishna devotees, man, and that was just beautiful, you know what I mean? And I'm going to continue to do that because that is just this cool feeling, man. That it's just beautiful when people get together and they have that same energy, and they're trying to share that energy with you. Not only sharing it, but feeding you food and all this stuff. Oh, man, it's beautiful. And it's great, man. But I encourage you guys, you know, look that up, man, in your area. You know what I mean? And hopefully that you get connected somewhere, man, because it's imperative that you get connected to some sort of community, man, because you should not be doing this alone. You should not be living your life by yourself. You know what I mean? You're not meant to be by yourself. There's communities and groups and all kinds of stuff like that, man. All you got to do is make that first step and get out there. You know what I mean? I guarantee you, man, if you go to any of these types of things that I mentioned, man, they'll show you love. They won't turn you away. I can guarantee you that. I'll put my life on that one, man. I can guarantee you that. It's beautiful, man. So, and anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys today, and you know, just make it part of the video, man. I figured that, you know, it was my job to share the Hare Krishna Bhakti Yoga Center with you guys here in San Antonio, Texas, man. Great people out that way, and just look them up, man. And they're gonna have this big event here coming. I think it was in not next week, but the following weekend, I believe. But it's just this big old thing, and their celebration, you know, for Hare Krishna, and it's beautiful. So you know, I'd like to invite you guys to that. Since I got invited, I'm inviting you guys. If you're in the San Antonio, Texas area, man, look that up, the Hare Krishna Yoga Bhakti Center, and they'll have information there on their website and that sort of thing. So at any rate, yeah, so I greatly appreciate you guys watching my video today, man. I really do. I hope that this video helps somebody out there, you know what I mean? I hope that our energy's connected here today. And I guess with that being said, I guess we're going to just wrap it up then. And yeah, so if you would please at this time, give me a thumbs up, shoot me a comment, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I'd greatly appreciate it, man. And if you do hit that subscribe button, man, just know that it doesn't cost you a thing. And guess what? When you do that, you'll be helping out another veteran, another homeless person, another person dealing with PTSD, childhood traumatic experiences, drug addiction, alcoholism, depression, suicidal thoughts, anger issues, grief, and sadness and that sort of thing, man, because I have dealt with all of those things in my life at one point in time. And guess what, man? I know a way out. And my way out could be your way out. So anyway, I guess thank you for watching. And I guess until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.